Okay, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the guided program development for Chapter 5. So first of all, you're going to need these pictures for the Chapter 5. You can download these from Blackboard. So go to your learning units in Blackboard in the classroom. Go to learning units and go to Chapter 5 and the Chapter 5 zip. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to open up Microsoft Visual Studio Express. Open up Microsoft Visual Studio Express. Open. Okay, you're going to go to File, New Project. Okay, never Windows Application 1. So we're going to name this Wood Cabinet Estimate. Check your spelling. Okay, we don't have a spell check here, so check your spelling. In your book, they have spaces. That's kind of a new thing. I'm kind of old school, so I don't put spaces. You can put spaces if you prefer. You're going to do OK. It's going to do our Solution Explorer here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to rename our form. So we're going to right-click, go to Rename. Okay, we don't want to change that VB, so okay, Form. Okay, in the old days we didn't do abbreviations, we did full names and we put it on the end, but I'm going to use the new format that they're using just to keep it consistent for you. No cabinet, no spell check here, no spaces here. Okay, no spell check, no spaces. Okay, make sure, click on your form, make sure in your properties that it changed the name. Okay, it should say Form Wood Cabinet. If it didn't, then make sure you change it in the name property here. Okay, next we're going to change our size property. Size, following along. Size property, you can use your sizing handles to size. If you do that, you've got to kind of look down here to make sure that it's the right size. Okay, otherwise, do it the easy way. Okay, if we know what size we need, we can just change the size here, 318, comma, 518. Okay, the next thing we need to do is change the back color property. Back color property. Okay, it's not going to be in the system colors, it's going to be in the web colors. Okay, these are not alphabetical, so you're going to have to scroll down to the wood, the brown color stuff, find burly wood. Okay, change the title on the title bar, that's this right here, Form 1. This is the text property, okay, not the title property. Oh gosh, I hate when I do that. Okay, don't worry about that, just go back into your design. We know how to change that, right? We just have to delete that if we're going to do that. Actually, we're going to code in the form property, so we'll just leave that there. Okay, so change the title, so that's the text property, right? So we're going to change that to Wood Cabinet Estimate. Wood Cabinet Estimate. Cool. Okay, moving on to the next page, we're going to add a heading title. Okay, so a heading table is a label. Now, if you don't have, see my, this is all turned off, so I can go to View if it's turned off. Other windows, this is my toolbox. Control-Alt-X also. Okay, if it's not pinned, if it's kind of going in and out, okay, just click on it and hit that pin. Okay, label, double click, it'll make a label. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is we want to name it label heading. So we're going to go to our name property. Okay, again, remember our naming conventions. Label heading. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is we want to set the font. Okay, so our font is font. We're going to hit that ellipsis. That'll open up our font dialog box, which will let us change all our font properties. Okay, we want Gaudy. Wow. Bold 20. Okay. We want to change the heading. So the text property. The text property is wood cabinet cost, right? Wood cabinet cost. Wood cabinet cost. Why is that too big? Oh, because I did Goudy Stout. We don't want Goudy Stout, we want Goudy Old Style. There we go, better. Okay, and then we want to go to Format, and we want to center in our form, horizontally. Okay, next we want to add another label. Label. Okay, we want this label about here-ish. We want it to be label linear feet, so we're going to name it label linear feet. We want the font Goudy Old Style bold 14. So we're going to go to our font. And we want Goudy Old Style. And we want it to be bold, and we want it to be 14. And we want it to say linear feet. So change our text property. Text. Linear feet. Okay, we want a text box object. Text box. Okay, we want it to be about this big-ish. All right, we want it to be, excuse me, sorry. Okay, we want it to be, okay, we want the text align, oh, no, let's name it first, because we're here. Text feet. Text feet. Okay, we want the text align. Text align to be center. We want the font to be Goudy Old Style bold 14. Font. Okay, we want that to be Goudy Old Style bold 14. Okay, we're going to use the snap lines. See, these are the snap lines. See those lines there, that blue line? Okay, the snap line, the blue on the top means we're aligning it to the top. Okay, now we want to select that one, hold the control key down and select the other one, and then we're going to go to Format, and we're going to center in form horizontally. Okay, so now they're lined up horizontally. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to add a group box. Okay, group box are down in containers. Okay, so our group box, we want it to be group wood type. Group wood type. Okay, we want to change the text property. Okay, so that's the name up top to wood type. Okay, and you can see, you can watch up here where it says group box 1. That's going to change to wood type. Okay, we want the size of the group box to be 125. 125 by 100. Okay, we want the back color to be white. Back color. Okay, and you can use system for this, or you can just use the web colors. Doesn't matter on that one. Okay, we want to change the font. Okay, we want to keep all the fonts to be the same. So we want the font on this one to be the same, Gotti, old style, regular, but this one's going to be 12. So font, okay, same thing, Gotti, old style, regular instead of bold, 12. Okay, and we want to center this horizontally on the form. Okay, so let's actually move this. Okay, we want it to be kind of here, and then format, and then we want to center it on the form. Okay, so we're putting it like right between the two. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select this group box, okay, and we're going to add 3 radio buttons. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so now we've got 3 radio buttons in this group box. Okay, and notice that they've got that font already. Okay, see how they've already got the right font going on? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select these 3 radio buttons, and I'm going to go to my format, and I'm going to go to my vertical spacing, and I'm going to make it equal. And I'm going to go to my format, and I'm going to align lefts. Okay, see now they're all aligned. See how they're all aligned? They look nice. Okay, now I'm going to go to the first radio button. Okay, and I'm going to change its name. And I'm going to call it Rad Pine. And I'm going to change, well, I'm going to change its checked property to true. And then I'm going to change its text property to pine. Okay, so now that one's checked. Okay, now this one, I'm going to change this one to Rad Oak. Okay, and I'm going to change its text property. Oops. I'm going to change its text property to Oak, but I'm going to change its name to Rad Oak. Okay, but I'm going to leave its checked property to false. Gosh darn it. Okay, when I want to delete, I delete everything from end sub to private sub. Okay, I want to delete that. Okay, now Rad button here, I'm going to change this one to Rad Cherry. And I'm going to change its text property to, you probably guessed it, to Cherry. Okay. And then the property, just to check it, it should be, I'm going to check all of those, I'm going to select all of them, and I'm going to make sure, see, Gotti, old style, 12 points, so that's fine. So I'm just going to leave that at that. Okay, set the radio button property on pine to true. Okay, I got that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cost estimate and cost label. So I'm going to add 2 labels. Okay, and I'm just going to move those down here. Okay, now I'm going to change this one to label cost. I'm going to change this one to, let's see, this text property to cost estimate. And this label is going to be label cost. Okay, and then this second one, I'm going to do label cost estimate. And then just as a placeholder, so that I can find it, I'm just going to do 1234.00. Okay, that's just a placeholder. It's not really, I'm not really doing anything there. It's just a placeholder. Now, I'm going to set both of these fonts at the same time, so I'm just going to select them both. This only works when you have 2 of the same object types. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the font, and the font on these is going to be Gotti Old Style Bold 14. So Gotti Old Style bold 14. Okay, and then I'm going to have to move this one over a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to hit this one, and then I'm going to format, and I'm going to center and form. And then actually I'm just going to move these up just a wee bit. Okay. All right. So now I have all that set up. Now I'm going to add calculate and clear buttons. So I'm going to add 2 buttons. So button 1 and button 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, the size on these buttons is going to be 100 by 30. So I'm going to select both of these. Now the same thing with these, I can set them both at the same time. So I'm going to do 100, 30. And the font is going to be Old Style Regular, or Gaudy Old Style Regular 12. So I'm going to go ahead and do that at the same time. Font, and then Gaudy Old Style Regular, what did I say? Gaudy Old Style Regular 12. Okay, and then I got to move these apart a little bit. Okay, now Gaudy Old Style Regular 12. Now the first button is going to be button calculate. And I can't do this at the same time because they have different names. But button calculate. And then I'm going to go down here, and my text property is going to be calculate. Okay, and then my second one is going to be button clear. And then, oops, that's the text property. Pay attention. Okay, and then I'm going to go up here, and then this is going to be button clear. Okay, and then the same thing here. I'm going to center these in the form, and actually I'm going to redo these because I think I might have shifted them over a little bit. Format, center, and form horizontally. Yeah. Okay, so now they're centered nice and pretty in the frame. So now I'm going to do a picture box. Okay, we're going to set the picture box, and that's 310 by 175. Size 310 by, what did I say, 175? 175. Okay, and then we want to move this down to the bottom of the form. We want to just set it right here in the bottom. Oh dear. Set it right here in the bottom. And then I'm just going to center it in the form, make sure it's in the right place. And then what we want to do is we want to actually put a picture in here. So we can go to image. Okay, and what we need to do is we need to go get the image. So we're going to go to local resource, we're going to import, and then those pictures that we had before, we're going to go find those. Mine are on my desktop in Chapter 5. We're going to open that. And okay, now what we need to do is we need to go to the size mode, Elemental P size mode, and we need to do stretch image, okay, to get it to kind of show up in there correctly. Okay, now if you want to, you can have these, you can space these. Do the vertical spacing, do make equal. Oops. Let's see. Let's undo that. You want to do it here. Okay, and then you can do this, I think if you pick one, oops. And then do format, vertical spacing, make equal. And then you just need to snap a line, snap a line, snap a line. There we go. So then that way that kind of lines everything up. Okay? So then you've got your form all figured out. File, save as, save all. Make sure you create a directory for your solution so that you can turn it in. Okay. So once you've got all that done, you've got your user interface designed, you're good for your next step. So now what you need to do is you need to start programming. Okay, so we're going to start by coding our calculate button. Okay, now the first thing you need to do is you need to do your first comments. So start up here, and you're going to start with your programmer name, or your program. Start with your program name, I guess. Program name, and we're going to do wood, cabinet, estimate, tour, and then your name, author name, and then you'll put your name, of course, not my name, and then date, and then whatever today is. I'm not going to put today's date because that'll confuse you if you're in a later term, because I'm going to use this over and over and over again. And then the purpose of the program, and that's in your book on page 350. So go on down, and then go ahead and turn it on your options strict on. So, and what the option strict does, option strict on does is it turns on the strict checking. So just turn that on. Okay, now you've got your, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We'll do this later. Okay, whenever you have extra code in here, you need to take it out. If you don't take it out, I'm going to take points off. So go ahead and click from private sub all the way through end sub and just delete. Okay, so then we're going to go in here, and you need to do what this is. Let's see, calculates the linear footage estimate or whatever. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do our declarations. This is our variable declarations. Variable declarations. Now, you can copy exactly what it says in the book, that's fine, but if you're going to be copying what's in the book, you need to understand exactly what you're doing, okay? Don't just go through and copy everything. Think about what you're doing and why you're doing it, okay? So let's start with this. So you have dim. What's dim? Dim is dimension, right? Dimension is how you declare your variables. These are local variables. Why are these local variables? Because they're within the sub procedure. That means these are going to be used only within the sub procedure, not outside the calculate button. They're only going to be used within the calculate button, okay? DEC feet, okay, as decimal. Okay, so what does this mean? DEC feet. Obviously, the DEC means that this is a decimal. Feet means that it's using it as a feet. As decimal. Why did we do this as decimal? We did as decimal. Let's see. I didn't mean to do that. Why did we do as decimal? We do the as decimal to tell the computer what type of variable it is. This variable is going to be a decimal type number. This is a number. That means we're going to be doing calculations with it. Okay? Our next one, dim, dimension, DEC, cost per foot as decimal, okay? Cost per foot means obviously it's going to do something where we're going to figure out the cost per foot, okay? Fine. Dim, desk cost estimate, okay, we can assume that that probably means that that's going to be the cost estimate at the end. That's probably going to report back the cost estimate. Dim des pine cost as decimal. Okay, that is the cost of the pine. Now, I have a little problem with this one. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. This is declaring it as a variable as opposed to a constant. This is a constant. I would have declared this as a constant. That's just me. Because this is declared as a constant number, I would have done it as a constant. But we're going to do it as a decimal because as a variable because they did it as a variable. That's fine. Okay, dim des oak cost as decimal equals 200D. Okay, so that's the cost of the oak per foot, obviously. Des cherry cost as decimal equals 350D. So it's $350, and the D is because it's a decimal. We put the D at the end because it's a decimal. That's why we do that. Think about every line of code you're writing. Why are we doing it? Oops, I should have a D. Why are we doing that this way? Why are we putting the D? Why are we saying decimal? Why are we calling it DEC cherry cost? Why are we doing each line of code? Because when we do this, it's giving you all the answers. If you don't think about every single line of code that you're writing, if you don't think about every single thing that you're doing, then these guided program developments are doing you no good. Okay? If you just copy everything that you do, then it's not going to help you. Okay? It's not going to help you to do this. You're just going through the motions. It's like somebody giving you directions to someplace. If you just follow along, you don't say, okay, well, I have to turn at the Walmart. If you don't think about why you're making the turns or where you're making the turns, you're not going to be able to get there the next day by yourself without that person sitting next to you. Okay, also pay attention to things like this. Why is this underlined? Okay, why am I getting error codes here? Well, it says right here, unused variable des cost per foot. Okay, that's fine. That's not really an error, that's a warning. And if you look down here, you're going to see there's a little yellow triangle. That's a warning. Okay, as long as I use that at some point, it's no big deal. Okay, so just make a mental note. Okay, I haven't used it yet. I got to use it at some point. Okay, all right. So let's move on to the next part. It says, did user enter a numeric value? Okay, so obviously at this point we want to know, did the user enter a number? Okay, so if is numeric, and then it says text feet dot text. Then, okay, so what is this? Text feet dot text. Well, what is text feet? Okay, now watch this. Let's do this again. Is numeric text feet. It gives me text feet. What was text feet? Did I do something text feet? What was that? I did something. I must have done something text feet because it gave me text feet. So let's go back here and look. Okay, what is this? This is text feet. So the question is, what did I do? So it's saying, is text feet. Try to always look here. Okay, it's giving me text feet. So now I can just do a period and accept that. Text feet dot text. So that's my next option. So is the text feet dot text? Is the value within the text feet? Is it a numeric? Is it a number? Is what it's asking. If it is a number, then I can do something with it. So text feet equals convert. So I can see, here's always choose from the options. If you don't see an option, then you have a problem. Okay, 2 decimal text feet dot text. Okay, so what are we doing here? Okay, so if is numeric, text feet dot text, then what am I doing? This is the assignment operator. Okay, it's saying assign, so it's saying convert whatever is in the text feet dot text to a number, to a decimal, and assign it to this right here, desc feet. Assign it to that thing. Okay, assign it to desc feet, because then we're going to do something with it. Okay, then we're going to do something with it. Okay, we're gonna math with it, right? We're gonna do some math calculations. Okay, so what are we gonna do with it? So once we've converted it to a number, then we need to see if they gave us a positive number. Okay, so if they gave us a positive number, then what do we need to do? Okay, well then we need to find out what kind of wood they want to use. Okay, do they want to use pine, do they want to use cherry, or do they want to use oak? Because it's going to depend. Their cabinets are going to, the cabinets, and look too. Look at this. Now that little squiggly under desk feet went away, because now we've used it, right? So that little squiggly under desk feet went away. So if it is greater than 0, then we need to find out which radio button they picked. Did they pick pine? Did they pick cherry? Did they pick oak? So what we're going to do is we're going to do desk cost. Okay, desk cost per foot equals. So if they chose well, no. First we have to say, well, if, which radio button did they choose? So if rad pine dot checked, then we're going to assign the desk cost per foot, right? Desk cost per foot equals the desk pine cost. Okay? Else if then let's see what comes next. The oak, right? Rad oak dot checked. Then desk cost per foot equals what is it? Desk oak cost, right? Else if rad cherry dot checked, then desk cost per foot equals desk cherry cost. Okay? And if. Okay? So, what are we doing here? Okay, what we're doing here is we're determining the wood choice and assigning cost per foot. So what we need to do is we're figuring out, okay, first of all, we're figuring out whether or not they put in a number. Okay, so if user put in a letter, so if they put in that there's, B feet, then it's wrong. If they put in that there's -10 feet, then we don't know what kind of measuring tape they're using. But If they put in that they're 16 feet, then we need to know whether they have pine, cherry, or oak, and we need to figure out how much the cost is. Because if it's pine, it's $150 per foot. If it's oak, then it's $200 per foot. And if it's cherry, then it's $350 per foot. So we have to make that determination. Okay, so we do that, we put that. Now, so we do the end if. Okay, then what we need to do is we need to calculate now. Calculate and display the cost estimate. Okay, so now we have the desk cost estimate equals desk feet times the desk cost per foot. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put it back into the label cost estimate. Okay, we have to put it into the text property. Okay, and then the desk cost estimate, we have to put it to string, and we're going to put it in a currency format. Okay, now we have an else, okay, from up here. Okay, if it's not numeric, or if it's not greater than 0, then we can display an error message. If it's okay, this else goes to this one. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a message box. And we're going to say you entered. Okay, now what that's doing is it's just saying, it's just adding the string. It's just telling them back, spitting back to them what they entered. Okay, and this is just telling you what you're supposed to put in. Okay, this is clearing that box, and this is resetting the focus. Text feet, let's do this again. Text feet.text equals okay, then we have one more else, right? This else goes to this if, okay, if they put in like a letter or something like that. Okay, and we're going to display an error message if user entered a non-numeric value. And we're going to do another message box. And then again, we're just clearing that box. And then we're going to reset our focus. And then we've got too many end ifs, so we're just going to get rid of the end ifs that don't have ends. Okay, so now we've got all that. This is our calculate button is now done. We have no warnings, we have no errors. So theoretically, we're done with that. So our calculate button is done. So now what we need to do is we need to do our clear button. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back here, double click on our clear button. Okay, and so then we'll just put clears the form. And we're going to do text feet dot clear. And we're going to do label cost estimate dot text equals, and we're going to do red pine dot checked equals true. Oops, we got too many equals here. And we're going to do red oak dot checked equals false, and red cherry dot checked equals false. And then we're going to set our text feet dot focus. So we're setting the focus there. Okay. Then we're going to do one more thing. What we're going to do is we're going to set the focus on the form. So what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the form. Okay, and this is why I wasn't going to redo that. And what it is this event just sets the focus on the form. So you can just do sets the focus on the form. Again, you can do what it says. This event handler is executed when the form is loaded at the start of the program. Sets the focus to the linear feet text box and clears the cost estimate label. It's fine if you put all that. Just make sure you understand what you're doing. So text feet, text feet. See, that's why you always use these, because that makes sure that you're typing the right thing. Label cost estimate dot text equals. Okay. So then what you need to do is you need to run it. Okay, we need to make sure that it works. So we're going to do, let's do 10 feet and calculate. 1,500. Okay, pine is 150, so that's fine. So let's do 10 feet and to oak, calculate, 2,000, clear. Let's do 10 feet and cherry and calculate, and that's 3,500, so that's right. So let's do -10 and calculate. You got to check your errors. You entered -10, enter a positive number. Make sure that it looks correct. We got correct spacing, we've got all our spelling correct. Okay, and let's try a B. Calculate. Enter the linear feet of the cabinets. You need to check all of your errors. Make sure that your errors are correct. If you're not checking your errors, you don't know if it's going to do correctly. Okay, if you don't check your errors, you don't know if your errors work. Okay, so always check your errors too. Make sure that your errors work the way they're supposed to. Okay, we checked our clear, we checked all of our radio buttons, we checked our values. You might want to check another value to make sure that it calculates correctly. It should, but you should check other values to make sure that it calculates correctly. 5, you got to do calculate to make it calculate. So check other values. Don't just check one value, but check other values to make sure that it does correctly. If it does, then you've done it correctly. You need to file, save all, and then zip your project and turn it in.